everyone, and welcome back to the Push to Pass F1 podcast. And today we are talking to you in the future because this has actually been filmed on the Thursday before the Hungarian Grand Prix. So today, with it being, we're officially we're over halfway, aren't we?
Yep, I think we've had
I think,
30.
I think it was halfway after Silverstone. So now we're over halfway through the season. We're going to do our mid-season review and rank our best drivers, our worst drivers, our best moments and our worst moments, and overall just give our general thoughts of the season so far. So let's start with Ashery. What's your thoughts been so far?
Uh, it's mixed bag at the minute. I think coming into the season, I think there's been a lot of sort of decline in the non-casual fan. I think everyone's kind of over these regs. I feel like there's always a bit of fatigue towards the end of a regulations when you know something new's coming in. And I also think lots of people predicted that McLaren were going to dominate this year.
Yeah, I think it's weird because I think a lot of people predicted that we'd have a good year, but I don't think people predicted it to be this sort of like wishy-washy. It's very much one race can be really good and then the next race can be a bit poo.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seemed like it was going to be wide open this year. Even though McLaren were predicted to be the best team, I thought Red Bull weren't going to lose as much performance as they have. I thought Mercedes were going to gradually improve, and it turns out they're actually gradually declining at this point. So, I mean, it seems like it's kind of wrapped up already.
Yeah, I think it's well, we'll do some predictions as well, but I think it's nailed on that one of the McLarens will win the title, and I think McLaren are going to walk away with the constructors. But I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with the regulations. I think people do get tired of them, but I also think it makes like the midfield sort of area a lot more competitive, and I think that's what we've seen so far this year. Like Haas have snuck into the point. Sauber recently have turned a massive corner and have started to get points again. You know, like Alpine are there one weekend and then they last, and then Aston Martin a year now and again. It's more of a you've got to watch behind the top probably five to actually enjoy the races at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree, and that is one positive that comes from it. But at the end of the day, you don't always see enough of the midfield battles with just how TV direction works. So I think for a casual fan, a lot of those sort of battles go under the radar.
Yeah, TV direction as well. That's I've got a bone to pick about that, but we'll talk about that different time. So, first of all, we'll start with our five best drivers of the 2025 season. We'll go 5 to 1. Do you want to go first?
Like usual, I've not ranked them, so I'm gonna have to do it
Doc.
on the fly. Um, Number five, I've got Isaac Hadjar
Oh, I've 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 got
because
him a bit higher than 5.
well, I'm glad you've got him, but he's tailed off a little bit the last three or four. But I don't know about you, but when he got signed, it was really last minute because they weren't sure if they were getting rid of Perez. He did have a good year in F2, but he didn't. To me, he didn't look like one of those that was like, right, he's going to go to F1.
Oh, see, I was the opposite. I was really looking forward to him coming in because I thought like he was really massively underrated coming into the season. People were like writing him off to finish like towards the bottom end of the standings, and
Oh
I
yeah,
think this sort of it's not really a dip, but like a slight decline in results. I think it's more just the rookie side coming out of him that he's just not that finished product yet. But he has been really impressive, especially in qualifying. I think
yeah.
he's been one of the most like consistent Q3 midfield sort of appearance. So yeah,
I have like no shame in saying that I thought that he would be towards the end of the back. I wasn't sure if he'd have the pace, and it turns out that his natural pace is actually the best thing about him. And as soon as he gets a more competitive package, I think ultimately become a really big contender. So he's really surprised me this year.
fifth I've gone with George Russell.
Yeah,
I think
checks out.
less probably the last 2 or 3 races, but we when we first started this pod, we were massive sort of George Russell fans in the fact of every week we just seemed to be loading him with praise because he was always in that top five, and sometimes it felt like that Mercedes shouldn't be, and he's just it's probably been, in my opinion, the best sort of most complete version of Russell we saw from the start of this season. I think he's just gone to
Yeah,
like a next level where, and he will get his contract extension, which we've been talking about now. It seems for months, but I think he's shown Toto that he's comfortably able to be like that team leader that Toto's been looking for.
yeah, he's really grown into that role. And beforehand, I'd have had my apprehensions if he could.
Yeah,
But
I was the same.
as you said, like 4 rounds into the season, we were singing his praises every minute of the podcast. And I know that has sort of tailed off results wise, but that isn't really down to him. That is more the car's performance. So I think he's proper on the limit at the moment, and he's doing really well.
Hey, big up George. Right, who have you got for?
Fourth, I've got Max Verstappen, which
Ooh,
seems like a bit of like a cop out.
no, it's not a cop out. That's just very low in my opinion.
Do you think?
Yeah,
So you've got him as well.
I have Max Verstappen, yeah, but I don't have him in fourth.
I think we've got the exact same list.
We might have the same five. I'm just going to put my four out there because we've already spoke about him. Fourth, I have Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah.
I just think
So
you've got if you looked at it plainly as a results basis, you could put George higher than Isaac. But I think if you just go off taking into consideration the cars they have and the situations they are, especially the start the Hadjar had, I think Hadjar has been like mightily impressive. But yeah, talk to me about Max Verstappen being fourth.
the reason I got Max fourth is just because he wouldn't be happy with the results he's got right now. I mean, on paper, this is just because of how good he is. This has been one of his worst years with
That is
results.
mental to say as
But
well.
it is, no, it is. But context-wise, when you learn about the car and how much he's actually extracting from that tractor every weekend, then you realise how well he's doing and how on the limit. And like beforehand, I wasn't the biggest Max fan. Like I admired his talent and I knew that he was a generational driver, but there's certain things about how he acts that I didn't like. But this year, I feel like my respect for him has grown so much, and that's just because the way he's handled the situation. I feel like he's really matured, and he's not accepting that he's in a not fast car. Every single weekend, he's still trying to take it to the McLarens, and there's been some weekends where he's managed that.
Yeah, he doesn't really just roll over, does he? He's not one of those drivers who'll be like, "Oh, my car's like not the quickest. I'm just gonna settle for like a fourth or fifth." He will proper just either put it in the wall or he'll try put it on pole.
Yeah, it was like Silverstone for me. It was like the epitome of it. He set his car up like outrageously one way just to try get as much speed as he could, and it was like he had like that win it or bin it mentality. I thought, and like he had so many moments that he'd saved, and that was just balls to the wall, just trying his best to try to get as good a result as he could. But as I said, the reason I've got him fourth is just because on paper the results aren't quite there.
I'm interested to see your top three now, because you're gonna have an interesting order in my eyes.
Right,
Right, hit me with your three.
George Russell.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were
So
gonna put him in at all, but
yeah, no, I've got George Russell at three. Purely, the reason I put him three and not four and didn't swap him around is just because the Merc's a worse car,
yeah,
basically.
understandable.
And you know, like George has won races this year. He's podiumed a few times this year. I know, like I'm kind of fed up of talking about him. He's just been really impressive, and as we've already said, he's really grown into that role. And I wasn't fully 100% sure if he could. I thought maybe he was second driver of the top team only, but I think this year has actually sort of catapulted him into that first team driver
Yeah, it
role.
was whether he sort of broke that, whether he stayed in the sort of like Bottas, Perez sort of category of
Exactly that.
they can have that second driver pace or whether they go higher. Third, I have gone with Alex Albon.
Yeah, come. Hmm. Okay.
I think he has probably been he's definitely in my opinion he's definitely had his best year and he's currently absolutely walking all over his teammate and he's showing me a top level team sort of attitude to the way he's gone like about his business this season. He's seeming a lot more he's losing that nice guy mentality in the sense of he's not afraid to call out when like the team's not doing it what he expects because I think he expects pretty much top eight every race now. and he's not afraid to say his mind. And I really like that from Albon. I could see him 100% being that lead driver at Williams if they wanted to keep him on going forward, or he could even take a step up to like a Merc or something in my eyes.
Yeah, he's really unfortunate to miss out on my list.
You haven't put him in your top five, right? Your top two
I've
is
not.
going to be interesting then, because I have no idea.
I've not put in. No, I think it's valid. I think you forgot about someone, but he's really unlucky not to get on my list. I think for a lot of people he'd be in their top five drivers, and he's had like a really good year. And I think we spoke about it on the last pod. I think that Williams drive is just like perfect for him. He's grown into that role so much, and he's like their talisman now. I could see him staying there for like a good few years. I don't. I almost don't want him to go to another team because I want to see how far that they can actually go together.
Yeah, he's like
Especially with like James Vowles at the helm. I think
he seems like he could. He's like the glue to that sort of project, isn't he? Because he's been there for a few years.
I'm excited by that whole partnership, all of it.
Right, hit me with your two.
My number two is Nico Hulkenberg.
He very narrowly missed out on my fifth spot.
So really, fifth? You'd have put him fifth?
I just think he's been very good in like he has been very good in patches in my eyes.
I think that's just comes with the territory of being
it might
a
just
bit of a
it might
car.
yeah, it might be me just underrating like the level he can actually extract that Sauber to, and he's been very good these past few races, and we got that result in Australia, but second I've gone with Max Verstappen.
Yeah, well, it checks out. I don't think we can argue either way. They're both valid picks.
I think there's probably I'd say there's about a top 6 or 7 you could really sort of. I think number 1 is unanimous, and then behind that you can sort of pick anything. But I've got Max in 2 because I think the past 2 or 3 years has made people forget how good he really is, and I think this year has like fully made people appreciate like he is probably one of the best drivers of all time.
Definitely, you've just described me there. I mean that car is like. That car was so good. It was automatic for him. I feel like he barely got out of 50% of what he was actually capable in, especially in 2022. I mean, that car, they'd roll it out of the garage and he'd be on pole. No issues at all. So it is like nice to see. It's almost nice to see him struggle because you get to see like how talented he is.
Yeah, it's nice.
But yeah,
It's nice to not have him as like a walkthrough.
Just because. I suppose the podium was like the icing on the cake, and that is a bit of recency bias, and he was a massive beneficiary for that. But that was just the conditions he was driving in, and he really showed his talent there and his experience. He played that race perfectly. But then it's not just that, he's also had points finishes in like Spain, Australia, other places where he's been getting results that really that car shouldn't have. I mean, I think we both predicted at the start of the year that Sauber wouldn't get any points, and he's got 37.
Yeah, I think I've been very harsh on Hulkenberg there. I think he could get it over Russell, in my opinion.
So, yeah, I mean, I was a bit sceptical when they gave him a 2-year contract, which means obviously he's going to race for Audi.
I think that's why they brought him in, but then I think the benefits they're getting this year is just like an added sort of. You wouldn't. Yeah. It's not what you signed him for, but you'd take it anyway.
I saw why Audi have chosen to go with him. Like, I get it. They want someone who's experienced, plenty of time in the car to develop the car. I do understand that point, but I also thought, I was like, like for the past few years, he's not really shown as much as you'd want. He's been in backmarker cars. Realistically, do you think maybe he's been gifted too much time? But now this year has just proven that he's ready. Well, he's more than ready. He's deserving of that Audi seat to see what he can do, see how he can develop that car.
Bit of a off a tangent sort of thing. Where do you rank Hulkenberg as like drivers of all time?
I mean, he's not. You can't put him anywhere.
Oh, no. At
the top.
No, I don't mean in the sense of like he's nowhere near the greats of all time, but like who would you compare him to in the sense of like?
Oh right.
Because I feel like when he retires, he could be at risk of people like completely forgetting how good he was and how good like he was when he came into the sport. Because you got to think he's been doing it for now 15 odd years.
this is what I was going to say is he's quite a unique one because he's got so much longevity that you have to applaud that. I mean, I know he's been out in stints. I think has he had like 1 or 2 years out
Yeah,
in
he did the.
certain points.
He wasn't there for 2020, was he? And he might. I don't.
That
I
was that
don't.
when Ricardo signed for Renault. Did he miss that year?
Yeah, because
Oh,
he
no, he was his teammate.
was he.
I think so.
Because he did. No, he weren't. Because he was doing stand-in appearances for Racing Point, wasn't
Right. Anyway, he's had
he? He's
you
he's
can
yeah.
call it like a
He's had periods out.
16, 17 years of being present in an F1 paddock. That is that's no mean feat. And I know on paper he's had one podium. You might look at that in the future and go, he's had I don't know 400 odd races by the time he retires or something. I don't know how many it'll be. And he only had one podium. That's not great. But then you look at some of the cars he's had, and then you look at he's such a what if driver.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like widely publicized he was Toto Wolff's second pick for Hamilton's drive for Mercedes back in 2013.
I
Like, imagine if things went another way.
I was gonna. That's pretty much how I was gonna sum it up. I was gonna say he is like the what if version of probably like a Rubens Barrichello.
Yeah,
In
I
the
mean,
in the
I genuinely do think he has the talent to have race wins.
Oh, 100. Well, he, in my opinion, he definitely should have run that Brazilian Grand Prix in 2010 where he got pole.
Hmm.
And just like that's obviously stuff out of his control takes him out of that. And he had the podium. I know he's got his podium now, but he had the podium for Renault in 2019 Germany, which again it was just like small, literally tiny errors which cost him. And I think people will remember that as his legacy. But I think people, especially like our age, and I think a bit older, will like definitely remember him. One, I think me and you both share the same driver, don't we?
I'm expecting you to put Oscar
Yeah,
Piastri.
I do.
He's just he's like accelerated. Do you get what I mean? He's just gone on a fast track
You know
of
what?
what people expected of him.
An interesting comment someone put on a TikTok I made. Someone said that they see Oscar in the same way they see Kimmy.
What, Kimi Antonelli
Oh,
or Raikkonen?
Raikkonen.
Raikkonen.
In the talks little, does stuff on the track.
Yeah, I see where the comparison comes from. I wouldn't say he's not got like that Finnish mentality.
No,
Like they're a different breed.
they're just
Those
mental.
lot. They're mental, but in like a very introverted
Yeah,
way. But I wouldn't liken him to that. I do think he is more extroverted than people think,
I think
and
he's
I
just
am.
very
I,
he's very to himself, isn't he? And then
Joe, if he wins this year, even if he loses, actually, just because from this year onwards now, next year onwards, sorry, people are going to look at him in a completely different light. I'm wondering if he'll grow more into a personality because I think in some sort of way he'll have to.
yeah,
With Liberty Media and the way that F1 is now, if he becomes a world champion, he's the face of the franchise for at least a year.
yeah, you almost sort of have to
I
build that sort of like persona of you are the face of the brand, and you sort of carry that, don't you?
this is what I mean. So I'm expecting him to be more out there soon enough, but I do love how he lets his driving do the talking at the moment.
Oh yeah,
But just quickly on his like performance, I mean, no one expected him to be fighting for wins every weekend, fighting for a championship in his third year in F1.
I did coming into this season, but I think if you look when he joined, I think people would have expected him to take like the sort of like Lando approach, where he takes like 4 or 5 years to get going.
Yeah, I mean, he won last year, so you're expecting him to
Yeah,
fight for wins sporadically, but I didn't expect him to be like this, and I thought Lando would be comfortably, not comfortably, but maybe 2/10 faster than
well,
him every weekend.
coming into the year, I predicted Lando to win the title, and I think pretty much everyone would have done that, just because he has done it longer than Oscar has. But I think Oscar has sort of taken that and just been like, right, I'm going to show you how good I am then.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a case of that because I don't think he's like that.
No,
I don't think he needs like
a
a
reason,
reason
yeah.
why, if you get what I mean. I just think he's just fast. He's just one of them.
He also just seems
It's
quite. He,
clicked.
he just seems quite sound.
he does see it. Like I like him. I think on the podcast it comes across that I like him, and that is true. He's one of my favourites.
Right, from good to bad. Let's do our top five worst.
Oh, we took ages on that.
I think we'll fly through these because they I don't really want to beat people while they're down.
Exactly.
Give me your number five because I don't. You're not going to agree with mine.
My number five is really harsh,
Go on then.
but my number five is Kimi Antonelli.
Oh wow, my five is Carlos Sainz.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's harsh. But also, I
I
do.
know it is because he's a rookie, so you got to take it with a pinch of salt. But I was looking at his results earlier because I was toying with the idea of putting him in, and I thought, it's like I was thinking the circumstance wise, he's so young, he's been put into a top team, he's expected to perform, and at points he has. I mean, he's had a podium, but he's scored no points in the last, well, six of the last seven races. He's had no points,
Yeah,
and five of them have been retirements.
he's starting to crumble a little bit under the pressure. I think this summer break's perfectly timed for him because it'll
Yeah,
he can just get
yeah,
out of the sport and just focus on himself. Signs, yeah, he has been one big old flop for me.
yeah. I've got him later on in the
Oh
list.
wow. Yeah, we spoke a couple of episodes into this podcast about how he if he got one result, it would spark into a few strings of good results, and it's just never really happened. He'll get one good result, and it'll pretty much go the opposite in the sense of he's getting one good and he'll have three bad, and he just can't seem to get into a groove, really, can he?
No, and it's quite strange because I find myself forgetting about him now. Like I look down the weekend and I'm like, oh, Carlos Sainz.
Does Williams have a second
It's
car problem?
it's just very. There's not even been any sort of like potential there. There's no flame.
No, it's he'll obviously be hoping for a better second half to the season, and I think he'll need it because otherwise, if like Albon has comfortably been, like I said, probably nailed on top eight at I'd say about 75 to 80% of the races, and I think that's where Williams want to be for especially this year, definitely going into next year.
Yeah, and I'm not the only one who thought that he'd match Albon's pace immediately, if not better it.
A lot of people I saw saying Carlos Sainz would like absolutely drag Albon through the mud. Right, hit me with your four.
My fourth is it's hard. We'll go with Fernando Alonso.
Oh, okay. Fourth, I've gone with Liam Lawson.
I didn't put him in because I thought it was mean to.
I do not care.
All right, fair enough.
People were like, he showed a lot of promise, and I will give it to him. These probably past two races, he started to show an upturn in what he can actually do, and I think he's benefiting from not being in that Red Bull environment. But he has just been nowhere near what I expected him to be this year. But Fernando Alonso, I think, is a bit hard. But also, I can't see
I
it.
know, I know the car's not there. Like the car is not there yet at all. So you can't expect him to be getting some crazy results. And he has had points finishes. He went on a little run 2 or 3 races ago where he scored three on the bounce, like low top tens, which is great. That's probably the max of the potential of the car. But Stroll is currently ahead of him in the championship,
Funny you should mention that name.
which is, I mean, I've actually not included Stroll
I have.
because it's just kind of a,
I think this might
well,
be a
I
bit
kind
more of
of,
a bias and an agenda.
yeah, like I took this as not the worst drivers on the grid. I took this as
Yeah,
the worst
yeah,
performances.
that's what it is. It's like the worst on form drivers so far this season.
So, speaking truthfully, I don't expect Stroll to ever do anything, really. So, he's actually not made my list, and I expect Alonso to, and I expect him to beat Stroll. And so far, he's not. So, that's why he's in.
Right, give me a three.
Third, I've got Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh, third, I have Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah,
If he was in any other team, he would have been probably kicked off the grid about 10 races ago.
it's just, I mean, the reason why he was in mine and not Liam Lawson is because he's got the same, if not worse, results than Lawson in that car, and this is his fifth year in F1,
Yeah,
sixth maybe.
2020 came in, didn't he? No, 2021.
No, 21 he came in.
Yeah,
Sorry, fifth. It's his fifth year in F1. He's had a lot of races. This was, I mean, he wanted this Red Bull drive 2 years ago,
yeah,
and now he's been given it, and he just looks like he's drowning. And I know that's not all his fault, but the performances have been woeful.
they have been pretty shocking.
And if he doesn't, sorry, if he doesn't carry on, or if he carries on, he's going to be playing himself out of F1.
I don't. Yeah, I think he has a big sort of call to make, especially for next year. Give me a second.
Were you going to say anything else on Yuki, or is it pretty much that?
You've literally hit the nail on the head. I just don't think he hasn't been to the standard that I think a lot of people hold him towards, and I think what Red Bull hold him towards, and he just hasn't give Red Bull a reason, in my opinion, to back him going forward.
Yeah.
If they change the car philosophy to it's not fully focused around Max, it could be a different story, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Who have you got to?
Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll. That's very high. Like, as in high and low for him.
Um, my expectations for him are very low, but to break the record this year for the most Q1 eliminations of all time in an Aston Martin, which probably isn't the slowest car, is quite impressive. Considering we have 6 rookies on the field,
Yeah,
and
no, that is awful.
and pretty much all of them, bar Kimi Antonelli, you would expect to be within the drop zone of Q1. Don't get me wrong, he got points in Australia, and I think he got some in Silverstone as well. But both of them were at wet races, so there's clearly some sort of pattern there. And overall, he is just, in my opinion, such a waste of a seat in Formula One.
That is pretty damning. That statistic. That that's insane. But like I said, this list is about performances, and
Oh, I have a hundred.
as
I one
I
hundred
agree
percent
with
have
you,
a. I have an
he's
agenda.
squandering that seat.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's just a waste. But for me, number two, I've put Carlos Sainz.
really, that is high.
Just just because
But I
he's
can't
such
see
an
it.
A-lister.
Yeah,
Like Williams have bought, or I know he's out of contract, but they've paid the money, they've put it on the line. They've got an A-lister. They've got a really well-rounded lineup for the first time in a long time, since probably like the Bottas Massa days. They've got a lineup that should be competitive, and he's not
no,
competitive in
he
that car at the moment
and
at all.
the worrying thing for me is he's not competitive. He's nowhere near competitive. Like, say if he was finishing, even if he was finishing 13th, 12th sort of area, and he's what, like 2 or 3 seconds off the points, you can say, do you know what, fair enough, he might just still be getting used to the car, but he's finishing like 18th, 17th, not finishing, going out in Q1, and it would be a big old worry if you were James Vowles. I'm interested to think who you would have number one.
Like I said about Signs, just quickly, there's been no sort of flame. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like you're waiting for it to ignite. Like, he's got it, but it's just not all come together. There's just nothing at the moment.
It's not even like a spark you can. He's not giving hope, is he?
No. Who have you got number one?
I've gone with Jack Doohan.
That's so harsh. What the hell?
Well, it was between him and Colapinto in my eyes.
Both are harsh. I didn't include either of them
Who you
for a
got number
reason.
one?
But it pains me to say it.
Do not say Gabriel Borlao, because I will jump through the screen and punch you.
No,
You've put Lewis
my
Hamilton number one, haven't you?
I have.
God,
Lewis Hamilton is
that'll
number
make a
one.
good clip.
And like it's just I thought that was consensus. I can't lie. I just thought, yeah, going off performances, that car isn't good, but it's not bad.
He he
And
he was close to my list, but he wasn't close to top three in my eyes. He could have
he's
fit.
consistently bottom of the top six.
He could have fit into my fifth or fourth. But also, I didn't hold this Ferrari move for Lewis to go quite as like rosy as everyone expected. I expected it to be pretty much what it is. But I do
Yeah.
think he has been one of the. He could he's definitely, like we said, for the best. There's probably a like 6 or 7 you could choose from an interchange, and I think he's in that sort of bracket.
I suppose he's like a victim of my expectations. That's why I've put him
Yeah,
one. But at the same time, he is consistently, other than maybe Antonelli, he's the slowest out of the top teams. And aside from a sprint win in China, what is there to be positive? And just the main thing that I'm worried about is not just the results, but the relationship. The relationship
yeah.
between him and the team seems fractured, and it's been half a season.
He
So,
just doesn't look like he's got much trust, does he? In
no.
them, and they just don't seem to be giving him much reason to trust. Yeah, me being having 2-1 is probably a bit harsh, but he finished his F1 career with more penalty points than he did actual points.
That's evil.
And look, this is me, and it's going to sound weird. I'm basing this more off. He was very harshly replaced with Colapinto, but I think if he had stayed in the drive, I think he would have got even worse. Just because I don't think he was ever F1 material.
But I think Colapinto coming in and performing how he's performed has actually saved Doohan's reputation.
If we filmed this in like 3 weeks' time and we had like 3 more Grand Prix, I definitely would have had Colapinto overdoing. I just think it's a bit too early.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The whole team is just a farce at the moment, but there we go.
Wait till you see my worst moments. Right, let's go to our 3 best moments. These were very hard to pick from, and most of my 3 don't make any sense at all, except for number 1. Hit me with
Go on,
your
hit me
number
then.
3. Oh, do you want me to go first?
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, go on.
Third, I've got the F1 movie.
That's actually not a bad shout.
I think it's gonna. I think less for the sport, more for no, for the sport, more for like the commercial value of the sport. I think it'll bring in just a new wave of fans, and it'll bring in more money. And generally, with a sport like F1, which we've seen trends of like fans dropping off and viewership dropping off, I think it'll do good.
Yeah, I actually quite like that twist that you've put on that.
Yeah,
S-
overall, it's just and look, it brings new eyes to the sport. It'll help people understand the sport a lot more, and I just think it's more. I could see more sports going down that sort of route.
And mine's going to be clipped. I know it will.
Oh, here we go.
My third, it's going to split opinion, is Horner being sacked.
I guess that was going to be in your list the minute you said.
Yeah.
You when we were
So,
speaking before, right? Bit of backstory to this. Before we hit record, we were on about this, and we were going through the best moments, and you were like, "Oh, I've got one, Bryce. It's going to divide opinion." And the first thing that came to my mind was you put Horner being sacked.
yeah. So,
Nothing more to say.
not
Or...
much else to say on that. Yeah,
Right.
that's.
What have you got number 2?
I've got the basically the Canadian Grand Prix, but George winning, and then also the McLarens crashing into each other.
I was going to put the McLaren crash in, but I felt it wasn't dramatic enough because it weirdly it sort of happened and people just forgot about it, and I think that was because Norris generally just went, "Yeah, fair enough, my fault."
Yeah, but it's that first major bit of needle between the two of them, which
Yeah,
I think every championship battle needs needle, especially between teammates, and there's been like none of that. So, I mean, to me, that's quite welcomed. If you're a McLaren fan, you're probably not liking that, but for me, I love that.
Um, oh, see, I've got my number 2. I've currently got something or something else, and I don't know which one to put in. I'm really on the fence. I've got the rookies being actually good
Okay,
in the
yeah.
sense of like the ones that have come up from Formula 2, because I think that gives more validity to Formula 2, or the Max to Mercedes stuff.
Max to Mercedes stuff narrowly missed out for me purely because it looks like it's not happening
Yeah, I'll
now.
put the rookies being actually good in the sense of like Bortoletto, Hajar, Behrman, Antonelli, all the ones who've come from Formula 2 have actually like
Yeah,
really impressed, and it gives more of a reason to actually keep Formula 2 as like the feeder series.
yeah, because I suppose when people are winning, like say, I mean, I'm sure Richard Verschoor's a not really nice guy and obviously an incredibly talented driver,
Sure, he's
but
a
if he
lovely
wins
bloke.
F2, Like if he wins F2 this year, then it's just like, oh, he's never making it to F1. He's been in F2 for about 6 years. He pays for his drive. That's how he gets on the grid. Which paid drivers, if they need to exist, then they need to exist. They're a means to an end. And as I said, I'm sure he's talented, but it just kind of diminishes the F2 as a product, as a feeder series if he's winning it.
Well, actually relevant, bit of news. Apparently Cadillac want a young driver, and they opt in between Jack Crawford and Felipe Drugovich, who Formula 2 champion and Formula 2 race winner, who is actually quite impressive. So, yeah, I think just having rookies, one, coming into the sport always is a good sign, but them actually performing and being able to back themselves and hold their own, just really positive for the sport. What have you got into?
Two, I have. No, one, sorry.
Yeah.
This
What
is
did you have into?
um
Oh,
McLaren's.
yeah, don't worry.
I think this is obvious. I've got Hulkenberg's podium.
Yeah, Hulk podium.
Yeah. That was like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Straight away, I was like, yeah, that's going
That was
on.
like the Piastri best driver.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, 3 worst moments.
Uh, I've got third Miami confirmed until 2037 or whatever it is.
2042.
Yeah, worse than I thought. Yeah, so that's my third.
Third, I've got the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, narrowly missed out for me. I
More,
was going to put it.
more reason to fuel my agenda of getting rid of it, please.
It was. I mean, I was a defender, but it was dire this year. Absolutely dire.
Yeah, Miami being on the. Oh, I forgot it got such a long contract. Surely they've got to change that track.
2042 is crazy.
He'll have GCSEs by the time the contract ends.
Yeah.
What's your number two?
Uh, two in one. I've got Red Bull and Alpine sacking drivers left, right, and centre.
I've literally just got Alpine.
Yeah.
Just the entire team, bringing back Flavio Briatore, all the driver drama. It's just mental. Can you shut up?
When will it end?
You hear my dog then?
I heard something.
Yeah, that was my dog barking. Yeah, Red Bull sacking drivers as well. That was a bit wild, sacking them after like 3 or 4 races.
Yeah.
What's your worst moment?
How wet races are being managed.
Number 1, rain. It's just,
Definitely. It was like straight away.
It's
I was
woke.
like, right.
yes, most
Yeah.
of these, I think what I found with the best and worst, I worked them backwards. It was a lot easier to pick the best and harder to pick like the lower down ones.
I was the exact same.
God, I hate wet races. Right, let's do some quick predictions for the rest of the season. Who's winning the world title?
Oscar Piastri.
Oscar Piastri, I agree. Who's winning the constructors? McLaren.
McLaren.
Who is going to be your best performer for the rest of the season?
What, points wise or
Nah, just
performance wise?
form, vibes.
Form. Oh. It's supposed to be quick, isn't it? We'll go with Charles Leclerc.
Oh, I'm going with Pierre Gasly. Who do you reckon is going to be the worst on form?
We'll go with Franco
I was
Colapinto.
going to say Colapinto gets sacked before the end of the season. And crazy prediction, Turkey gets confirmed for next year for no apparent reason.
Crazy prediction. This is catching me completely off guard, by the way. I wasn't aware of all these. I can't tell you. I don't know. You'll
Well,
have to.
oh, you have enjoyed our mid-season review. Some interesting thoughts so far this season. Been a bit of a iffy start, but also we did start this podcast this season, so that's a good thing. But if you are listening on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've actually been getting a lot more support over on YouTube recently, so it's greatly appreciated. If you were listening on Spotify, don't forget to rate us 5-star and drop us a follow. It hugely helps. I have been Max,
I've been Reef.
and this has been the Push to Pass F1 podcast.